Hello there. Have you ever been curious about the Alexander Technique online? You know, in our fast-paced world, where learning is stretched far beyond these traditional classroom walls and one-to-one lessons, it's really interesting to ask, isn't it? Alexander Technique online. Well, first, you might be asking, what is the Alexander Technique? Well, it's crafted over a century ago by an actor in Australia called Frederick Matthias Alexander. It's usually taught in person, hands-on and one-to-one sessions where the teacher, such as me, guides you physically. But guess what? It can be and has been very successfully adapted to working online. So times have changed, and with it, so has the method in which we are able to share the work, the discoveries, the techniques. So online learning is not just a new trend, it's become an integral part of how that we learn and acquire new skills. Many people during COVID and even before were learning this way, but obviously when times must, or geography or other reasons, when you're travelling, it's brilliant to be able to learn these skills, practice, and be able to do that from wherever you are in the world. So in terms of this digital age, the Alexander Technique has evolved. It is a bit controversial. Some people think that the traditional way, which is hands-on work, is the only way. I happen to think that it can be very successfully taught online, and have been doing that since before COVID. So nowadays, you can have lots of support online, so wherever you are in the world, you don't have to be lucky enough to live near an Alexander teacher. You can work online. And what we do instead of the hands-on work is we actually give quite detailed verbal instructions. Some people who come for individual lessons can get quite easily sort of led to believe that actually, you know, they come for a nice session, I'm doing something to them, and actually they might not need to cooperate, or it's not quite the right word, collaborate in the same way. So what we're doing in online sessions is we're really giving people more a sense of their own self-reliance, as it is a self-help tool. And so what that means is that the teacher does less in terms of the physical contact, but does more in terms of the verbal instructions and feedback. So here we are, you know, we might walk you through a particular movement pattern, something you're struggling with, or something that you'd like to learn to do a little bit more easily, and we can give you really crystal clear instructions, helping you grasp and adjust your movements, just with words and visuals. So even if I can't see the whole person, because of the training that I've got, I'm able to attune to people, and I can often tell or explore with them what's going on off screen as well. So one of the huge pluses of learning the technique online, of course, is its accessibility. You don't need to be able to get here, so weather becomes less of a problem. Geography, there are no limits. As long as you've got a Zoom connection or a WhatsApp or a FaceTime or whatever it is, then, you know, we can work together. And that can be a real game changer. Back in the day, Alexander used to have correspondence sessions, lessons with people, or they'd come over from America or wherever and have a lesson with him in London, and, you know, he would give them, you know, as much information, as much of the tools as possible. So, you know, the work has been adapted over time, and the hands-on was one of his adaptations. And now into this digital age, we're able to work with people, as I say, very much wherever they are in the world. So yeah, the lack of touch is one of the main differences between being in a group online or individually online. But, you know, this independence is also really empowering. Helps you to gain skills, to know that you're the one who has to change your thinking in order to change your habits and change your future. So if you're curious, it might feel a bit different if you've ever had lessons already, but actually, you know, it's quite an exciting and very flexible way of learning. So one of the things we can do, of course, is work in groups with people, and couples sometimes come for sessions online, We can look at ways of adapting your workspace. So in a way, sort of bringing the teacher into your workspace or home office and looking at the setup there. So I think, it's a very interesting way of actually working and adapting. So let me know if you're curious to know any more. It's a modern twist on the age-old technique here, but the principles stay the same. The principles are still what they always were, what Alexander discovered 100 years ago. And, this is about how we adapt and find new ways in this ever-changing world. And it's all about choices. That's what the Alexander technique is all about, how to be more conscious and embodied in ourselves so that we can make more conscious choices for our whole self to be as well as it can be. If you're curious, give me a call, set up a 15-minute free appointment with me, and we can talk through any questions and see whether this might be the right way for you to go forwards. Look forward to hearing from you.